Hey guys, welcome back for another video, and in today's video we are going to talk about the fastest charging flagships and their backstory. So we have the many flagships have launched in 2020, and most of them charge very fast, and today we are going to talk about them and also the backstory, whether how much they earned, whether they flopped or not, or their story. And these phones include Chinese as well as non-Chinese, and at the end we are going to tell you that whether fast charging phones are actually necessary or not. Okay, so let's start. At the very first, we come to the Realme X2 Pro. It is a lower flagship in price, but it has offered great features. However, it failed to gain popularity due to its 30k price range, as people preferred OnePlus phones back then at that price. You already know that OnePlus phones are now, the prices are getting higher due to the GST, but OnePlus phones once were at the price of 30,000, especially when this phone was launched. And now its price has dropped to 25k for the base variant, including many offers. But this phone had very good specs. It offered super specs for this price, like Snapdragon 855 Plus, UFS 3.0 storage, 64 megapixel quad camera with a telephoto lens, a 90Hz smooth AMOLED panel like the OnePlus Nord, 6.5-inch decent big screen. It also displayed vibrant colors due to the AMOLED display. I've seen the display, it's a pretty nice display. This is the perfect competition right now to the OnePlus Nord. And the main highlight of this phone was it offers a massive 50-watt fast charging. We are talking about fast charging in this video, so this is a main highlight. 50-watt fast charging. It charged the phone in just 30 minutes, half an hour. It had a decent 4000 mAh battery, where the OnePlus Nord has a 4100 mAh battery. Not much of a difference, and even today people are willing to accept 4000 mAh battery. And I would definitely recommend you this phone over the OnePlus Nord if you are thinking about buying the Nord. This phone flopped because of the OnePlus 7T Pro back then, and now this phone should get the popularity because it's a pretty good phone. Now, so this was backstory of the Realme X2 Pro. Now let's move on to the next phone, which is the Vivo X50 Pro. Now the Vivo X50 Pro was just launched 1 month or 2 months back, I think, and as usual this is one of the most overpriced phones of Vivo, like the Vivo V19. And although being a flagship, it has UFS 2.1 storage. Can you believe that? And average 4135 mAh battery, which is not good in, if you see in respect to 2020. It had a decent amount of 33-watt fast charging, which is pretty decent, and it could charge the phone 57% in half an hour, whereas the Realme could charge it 100% in half an hour. Now you must be wondering, why is this phone here? Because it's a flagship, of course, and it clicks one of the best pictures under 50,000. Yeah, it has a gimbal camera mechanism. As you can see in the picture, it's a pretty decent setup. And well, if the camera is not your choice, then please do not buy this. We do not recommend you otherwise if you're not concerned for the camera. Now this flagship has another story. This one, people will try to fool you if you go to the offline stores, the Vivo people, and they will force you to buy Vivo phones. But I would recommend you not to buy this. Just buy better phones. You can buy the Realme phones in this price. They are very good, much better than Vivo phones, although they are apparently from the same company. Anyway, so this was the backstory of Vivo X50 Pro. It was just launched, so nothing much to tell about it. Now we move on to our next phone right now. Next we have the Oppo Find X2. Now this is one of the best phones of Oppo right now. Oppo Find X2 had it all, from awesome display, best processor, one of the best cameras, and super fast 65-watt charger. Oppo's first ever brilliant charger, charged pretty fast, 65-watt charger, and had a decent 4200 mAh battery. But the problem was the price was a bit high. Now if Oppo starts comparing itself with the brand Samsung and iPhone, coming prices near to 70,000, so obviously no one would buy Oppo because of the color OS UI, not a good UI filled with ads, etc. The price was 65,000 approx, but don't worry, you rather buy OnePlus phones in that price, if not Samsung. So this was the story of the Oppo Find X2. It obviously flopped in India, and maybe in other countries it might have done well, but India it has definitely flopped. But it did offer good specs. Now if the price decreases to at least 40 or 50,000, then people can consider it a good option. Okay, so this was the backstory of Oppo Find X2. Now let's get to the next phone. Now we come to the Realme X50 Pro. Now it did have a bit more type of hype than the Realme X2 Pro. and this phone was definitely a good upgrade over the Realme X2 Pro. But the problem was that the problem wasn't of this phone, the problem was of the companies. The Realme have a bad habit of launching phones back to back to back together. And the problem, like just example, you can take the Realme C series, the Realme C12, then C15, then C11, whatnot. It's very confusing as well. And now they have the Realme 7, the Realme 7 Pro, the Realme X7, the Realme X7 Pro, Realme C17 is also coming, Realme C19 may be also coming. God knows whatever have Realme in their mind. Now the thing is that overshadow, so this phone was overshadowed technically, okay, and it was also India's first ever 5G phone. Now S10 5G was the first ever 5G phone, but that wasn't launched in India anyways. And it was upgraded version of the Realme X2 Pro. It gave a better processor, better selfie camera, better network, that is 5G, a bigger display, a bigger battery, and a faster charging. Now this one also had the Oppo 65-watt fast charging. If you did not know, Oppo and Realme are the same brand technically, you know. And the next thing, I remember probably the first time I had seen a phone with 65-watt charging. That time this phone started at a price of 38k. So can you imagine, 38,000 you get a 65-watt charger, whereas the Oppo phone had 65,000 and a 65-watt charger. But still it flopped because of Realme's bad habit, and it still remains underrated phone till date. And this price, this is one of the best phones. And iQ3 is also a good phone, it's coming soon. And its battery 4200 mAh, I've told you. And after all, both are the same companies. Oppo, by the way, Oppo Find X2 also had the same battery, 4200 mAh. So Realme X50 Pro is one of the best phones you can buy right now, but the problem was it was a bit bulky. Yeah, it was a bit bulky. I've seen many reviews of it. It was a bit bulky. So yeah, this was the backstory of the Realme X50 Pro. Now let's go to our next phone, which you might already have heard, iQ3. So let's go ahead. So here we have the iQ3. Now right after Vivo discontinued their super hit Vivo Z series consisting of the Vivo Z1X, the Z1 Pro, and launched the sub-brand iQ in India. iQ had many phones in other countries, but in India it has only one phone till now. Even iQ5 might launch in India, and now iQ3 is the only iQ phone in India right now. And typical Vivo phone, it is just a copy of the camera of the Vivo V19, although I think Vivo V19 copied their camera anyways. And this phone was also promoted by celebrities, Virat Kohli, like all other Vivo phones. But this phone cannot be called overpriced like other Vivo phones at all. This phone has a price of around 33k, and now it is 32 or 31k I think in Flipkart. It had flagship specs. Only problem was that it has a very small selfie, probably an 8MP selfie, which could not be visible properly, and it was 8MP selfie. So yeah, a flagship with a 8MP selfie. This is not Samsung where they are going to provide 10MP selfie, which will click better pictures than a 32 megapixel selfie. So yeah, this was the minus point of this phone, not for camera. And in the rear setup, it has a 48MP camera anyways. And the problem was that it only available online, so it didn't go much popular. Okay, so only Flipkart available, no other shops it was available. And people could not trust iQ at that point because iQ was new to India at that time. Most of the people did not know that it was a brand of Vivo. And although some people might have known that it was a brand of Vivo, but still they didn't go for iQ because at that time they were looking for some popular Samsung phones. Samsung A series phones had got much popularity at that time. Anyways, let's talk about its battery. It has a 4400 mAh good battery, and it has a 55-watt super fast charging. Now 55-watt charging was pretty good at that time. It would even now, yeah, and what am I saying, even now it is a very good charger, 55-watt. So yeah, this was what we had to talk about in this video. There are many phones. There were total 10 phones we had prepared in all, and we had talked about only 5 right now, or 4 I think. And a part 2 is coming soon where we are also going to talk about the rest of the phones. So stay tuned till then, and if this video gets more than 10 likes, then we are ready to make a part 2 instantly, and I'm promising you the next part will be the part 2. Okay, so till then, bye, and stay home and stay safe.